let's take, for example, the busy landlord, the landlords that are abroad in a different time zone, and the landlord with multiple properties, multiple tenants. You're either too busy to reply, you can't reply because you're in bed, because you're in America, or you're so busy and have so many tenants that your message or phone call just blends into the background of all the other missed phone calls and whatever. Or let's just say you really can't be bothered, your landlord that really can't be bothered to manage your property. Regardless of any of those scenarios, the tenant is not going to be replied to in the same sort of haste as they would do if it was someone whose sole responsibility was to answer that call or respond to that message. Now, as a tenant, I would see great value in having any sort of issue I have in someone else's property that I rent and pay an awful lot of money for resolved as soon as possible. If it's not resolved as soon as possible, I have to think about whether or not I'm getting my value for money. And this is something that I'm going to be thinking very strongly and deeply about when it comes to the 3 months before the end of my tenancy, when it comes to renewal. Shall I stay or shall I go? Now, if I feel like I've got value for money out of the property and I've enjoyed living there and I've had no issues, I don't think anyone likes to move house. I know a lot of people know that the rents are going up in Dubai. I would, if I've had no issues and it's gone smoothly, I would happily pay the extra rent, the extra money to stay in that property. As opposed to if it was poorly managed and I had loads of difficulties, I would move. I wouldn't pay the extra rent. And we all know that if someone moves out of an apartment or a villa in Dubai, on average, the apartment or villa is empty for at least 2 weeks. And 2 weeks worth of rent is much more than the slight hike in okay, so say a month, it's like nearly double the price of the increase in rent. So it would cost you more to have your tenants move out than it would do to just keep them in the property in the first place. I think a lot of landlords last year accepted low rents to have their apartments or villas occupied. Let's look at the villa communities, for example, where rents last year were much, much lower than they are now. Now, what I don't want any of our landlords to feel like is just because they got a low rent last year that they should put in minimal effort over the tenancy over the past year because they feel hard done by that they didn't get the rent they want, given the rents have gone up now. I would say completely the opposite to that. You need to look after your tenants more importantly now over the past year, because during COVID, I feel like and strongly believe that anyone that was going to leave the country has left the country, and anyone that's still remaining in the country are people that are going to stay for a while. So now is the time to look after your tenants and look after your property, because house prices and villa prices and rentals in villas and apartments are going up everywhere, and they will continue to go up. We've got Expo this year. It's published all over the world how well Dubai property market is doing. It's just counterintuitive to start neglecting your property now and in turn your tenants in the process.